I guess it was bound to happen. I have my first ever failed laptop review. Failed in that there's so many problems with this laptop, and it's not hardware, like there's nothing broken on the laptop. It's just so problematic that I can't properly review the laptop, and I'm just gonna have to warn you guys about it. So this one here is the ASUS Vivobook S16 2025 model, Arrow Lake 285. On paper, very good specs. OLED screen, super thin laptop. It's the Vivobook. This is a case of like, look how they massacred my boy, because I always loved the Vivobook. It was always the one ASUS that I was like, you know, generally speaking, the Vivobook rarely disappointed me. I always liked it. There's some, ups and downs with this laptop internally in that, but I've been having some major issues with it. Symptoms. Well, when the laptop is plugged in, so if there's power to it, you have two things going on. One, the fan will always run all the time, no matter what. You can put it into silent mode, or whisper mode as they call it, performance. You can put it in the max speed, doesn't matter. It always runs, and it runs at the same speed, exactly, no matter what. The fan just goes at this exact steady pace as it's running right now, constantly, no matter what. Then the other symptom which is super annoying, but it's not like the laptop is broken as a result. I could have done the review and just given it that. Now, the other problem is though, the fans will turn off. If the laptop goes to sleep at all, even the screen just goes to sleep for a second, you stop touching it for a minute, the screen goes to sleep, it will completely turn off the fans, completely, when you resume it. They will never turn back on. It also happens sometimes periodically. I'll be like video editing and it'll just be like, the fans are off now. The fans turn off and they stay off no matter what you do. You can go through all the different performance modes. It doesn't affect anything. The fans will completely turn off. As a result, the laptop gets incredibly hot. It throttles, so the performance becomes terrible, but it actually becomes so hot that you can actually it could potentially burn your skin. I don't know if it's hot enough, but it gets up to like 60 degrees. It got to the point where I was like, what, why is this so hot? This laptop's so hot. And I was editing, but I wasn't really like doing anything where I would notice the CPU throttling, because I was just like looking, I think I was just looking at like my thumbnails or something like that. I was like, it's super hot. And then I was like, oh, the fan's not going. Why is it so hot, but the fan isn't going? And this is several days ago. And that's when I noticed the issue of something's very wrong with this laptop. I thought it was the BIOS. It probably is the BIOS. It's either my ASUS and the BIOS itself. So I actually started by then updating the BIOS. I'll show you that here. I updated the BIOS. Didn't help. We still have the same weird issue where the fans will just randomly turn off and stay off, or will turn off when you get any form of sleep and stay off, and you get horrible throttling, potentially damaging the laptop over long term, because there's no way of it evacuating the heat. It just is hot. The fans cannot go. And of course, you have that weird other issue where if any time the laptop is rebooted, then that solves that fan being off issue. So you reboot the computer, then the fans are like, oh, we can work again, but the fans never stop working at the same pace. So you have a major problem here with this laptop. Interestingly, the only one thing that I did notice is when you unplug it, that weird behavior stops, or seems to stop. So the fans will run when they're supposed to at a different intervals depending on how hot they are. They'll go up, down, low. So if you're in like Cinebench, they'll go high. If you're out of Cinebench, like just hanging out, they'll go really, really low. But it also doesn't affect that weird thing where the fans will just periodically like turn off and then be like, oh, by the way, we don't have fans anymore. So we're going to show you the symptoms here. I'm going to kind of show you some of the tough stuff that's going on. But it's been several days. I've actually reinstalled Windows too. I was like, maybe it's a Windows bug. Didn't help. So there's definitely something wrong with the BIOS on this laptop. This is the first time where I did a review and I can't finish the review because it's so problematic that I can't, like, what does it matter if the laptop has, a nice keyboard and, the internals are this or that and the screen is this and that? What does it matter when it has serious level, BIOS level defects, or my ASUS level / BIOS defects that render the laptop not working as it should, or it could be by design. I don't know what's wrong with it, but there's something very problematic with this laptop. So, and just as a heads up, I bought this brand new from Costco. This is not a refurb, open box, anything like that. It's a brand new unit from Costco. Interestingly, there was a lot of very bad reviews on Costco, but I bought it to review. I was like, whatever. But there's a lot of people having a lot of problems with this laptop, the ASUS Vivobook S16. So you shouldn't buy it right now until at least something gets addressed. But I'm going to show you what was going on with it. So I'm working on my review of this laptop here, and there's some really strange behaviors going on here. This thing, I'm not really sure what's going on. So you can see here the CPU is not being used. There's nothing going on here. The fan is just absolutely tearing right now, absolutely tearing. Before, I was on standard performance, full speed, didn't matter. The fans weren't going at all. They would not go. It doesn't matter what I was doing. I was trying, just using the laptop, and I was like, wow, it's getting really hot. I was on my lap, getting super hot. And I was like, okay, I guess they have it set up so that the fans won't kick in for a while. Then I even loaded up my video editing software, and it was getting incredibly hot, just passively trying to cool itself and throttling. The fans would not turn on. So I restarted the computer, and now the fans won't turn off. Now I'm in standard mode. It's just absolutely tearing here. The fan, like, it's loud too. Let me bring the mic in. Like, it's just absolutely ripping here for no reason whatsoever. Nothing's going on here, right? You can come here, go to performance mode. Like, why? Why is the fan going? I don't understand. Right? It makes no sense to me. Like, the CPU is at a 2% load, right? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. There's definitely something very fishy with this laptop. It might just be, I've updated everything, BIOS has updated everything through my ASUS, everything's been updated formally, and I really don't understand what's going on here. Right, come down here, these are not hot, 53, 52, 62, 64, it's not hot. Right? There's not really any reason for the fans to be tearing right now. Wattages, 11 watts going into the CPU. That's nothing. Now it is a powerful CPU, but it's 11 watts. Like, that's like below a Steam Deck. Right? It doesn't make any sense. The fans are just absolutely tearing here, right? And if you go to these other modes, it doesn't do anything. Right? Nothing. That speeds it up. Maybe it'll slow down now when I go back here. Back to performance. No, it's still going. Let's try whisper. Maybe it'll turn off. Right? This is whisper mode. It's supposed to turn off the fans. Okay, so I think I figured it out here. If the system goes to sleep at any time, at all, like if you close the lid or you just stop using it for a second, the moment it goes to sleep, when it comes back, it can no longer, the fans don't work anymore at all, right? So now I'm on, even put a performance, it's completely off. Right? There's absolutely no fan. So, yeah, so, and now what happens is it starts to get really, 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 really hot. Okay, so here's a look at the laptop under full idle, or at least I think, trying. The CPU is not doing anything, it's just kind of pulling a few watts there. 1% CPU usage, so nothing really going on there. Not too bad there. On the bottom here. Little warm, but not terrible. And we'll see if it does that weird thing where the fans just stop working for some weird reason. Let's see what happens with that. "90 degrees, 94, right, throttle. 0 fans. And now we're throttling down. Frequency 800 megahertz, right? That's not right. And we're almost at, we're like getting close to 100 degrees. The fans aren't going, right? This thing should be pulling out a Cinebench score of 20,000, 22, 23,000. It should not be even close to throttling. The fan should be going, the watts should be higher, and the clock should be way higher than 800 megahertz. But we're getting to the point now where there's a crippling BIOS or something flaw with the system here, where anytime the system goes to sleep, it basically kills the system and you have to reboot the system. And then the weird thing is the fans will always go. So you have two options here. You either have the fans going all the time for no reason whatsoever when you get a fresh reboot, and if you put in whisper mode, the fans keep running constantly. Then if you sleep the machine, open it back up, it does the opposite. The fans just turn off and they won't turn on at all, no matter what, right? Now we're down to 400 megahertz on this clock here, 400, 450. Like, that's bad, right? Obviously that's bad. what do we get? Like, I don't even know the score will be here. This is a very powerful CPU that should be getting 23,000. Even under low wattage offering, it should be 20,000. Yeah. Like, that's horrible. I mean, it's good for passive cooling, just like coming out of the thing. Right? And this is super hot now. Right, so here's a look at it. Obviously, it's going to start to get real hot because there's no fan. 50 degrees there. I mean, it's hot regardless, but 60 degrees. This metal, like, I can feel that metal there, and that's hot, to the, like, very hot to the touch. 53 degrees. Obviously, inside's going to be hotter. Ooh, okay, that is actually very hot. So, and the metal here, like the actual metal, is very hot. 54 degrees. That's very hot. And you can see here we're doing the editing, and we're in full speed mode. And the fans are, I mean, they're going, but they're not going fast enough. Not enough to keep it cool. It's super hot. And none of these do anything at all. So yeah, there's some serious issues here. Even with the thing plugged in, you know, running with, I should ideally be full speed mode. The fans are not going fast enough and it's running super hot. Okay, and here it is. I'm actually editing. I'm exporting the video. I'm trying to do the video on the laptop to kind of get an idea of how it's going to run. And it's getting incredibly hot. And I have it on that, you know, max performance mode, but it doesn't make a difference. As I said, no matter what you do, you can have it in the balanced mode, the performance mode, or the, you know, max performance mode. It doesn't make a difference. The fans don't go any faster regardless of what you do. And so as a result, it's running super hot. Of course, we're getting throttling. This is the external here. We're getting a lot of throttling as a result because it's incapable of cooling itself because the fans will not get any faster to keep itself cool. So I'm just kind of sitting like this because I can't sit with it on my lap anymore because it's too hot. Honestly, too, just holding it, just trying to finish this video. And right now I'm trying to restart the thing. That's fine. So hot I had to stand up because it's like actually incredibly hot on the bottom. And I'm just sitting here with this thing. It was on my lap. And the fans, there we go. The fans finally turned on. Because it did that thing where the fans just randomly turned off. And it was actually like bothering me. I was trying to do some editing. I was like, all right, let's restart it. Restarted it. And then now the fans kicked in. But I mean, it's extremely problematic, right? You're going to use this thing for a little while, whether it sleeps or not. The fans just may or may not turn off. If they turn off, then you're kind of screwed. You have to restart the computer. When they turn on, then the fans go constantly the whole time. So yeah, something's up with the BIOS on these things. Okay, so we'll just wrap it up there. It's a decent enough laptop, like the chassis and everything's fine. You know, screen is nice, all these kind of things, but I mean, it's been a few days of trying to work with this thing. I did a fresh Windows reinstall. Didn't help. I did the BIOS, the one that came with it, and then of course updated the BIOS, didn't help. And it's not a hardware level defect in terms of like the thing works, especially when it's not on battery. Just unplugged, it kind of worked most of the time, but there's something very wrong with the BIOS or the tuning or something in my ASUS. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but yeah, this is one you're going to probably want to avoid right now. I did actually, I do reviews, but the Costco reviews were pretty bad on this laptop too. A lot of people with problems with it, so maybe it's not just me, but yeah, definitely something weird about this, the ASUS Vivobook S16 with the 285H. I think ASUS needs to address this like pronto because people have already bought these laptops and you're running into these weird issues. It's something that is going to be very problematic.